They're awesome guys. I'm going to turn it over to Clue and Joey and let them talk a little bit, because if I turned it over to Aaron, he'd go, yep.
Yeah.
Here you go.
All right, so usually people try to hide the microphone from me, so I'll try to keep it brief. The V-Twins project actually started, if you haven't heard our story, Aaron rode in from Idaho, and we were both going through some tough times in our lives and decided that we wanted to do something that made a difference. And after talking a little more, we decided we wanted to make the difference with veterans. The kind of our tagline, if you will, is giving veterans a different kind of therapy. There's a kind of therapy that you get on two wheels, and even more than that, there's a brotherhood that comes along with it. Some people want to talk about it, some people don't want to talk about it. But if you're riding with a group of people like we have here today, if you ever need somebody, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're going to have them. And through this process, this is the third time now that we're giving a bike away. Each year we meet new people. We've met people like Joey. CVMA has given us a lot of support. We're finding people that are saying, we like what you're doing, we believe in what we're doing. We're going to help you do it a lot better. And that's why we have 4 times as many people as we had last year. We've been at events that we never dreamed that we'd be able to. We've got support from folks that we never would have reached. So thank you all very much for your help. I'm going to hand it over to Aaron so he can say yeah, and then we'll have Joey talk about something important.
Typical of John, he likes to say everything and then leave me with nothing left to say, so that's why I just say yeah. But I do want to say thanks to the CVMA guys. They've been awesome, and Joey's pushed us to do more than we ever would have. So big thanks to everybody who came and everybody who gets forgotten. We are sorry that we forgot you, and we thank you too. And thanks to you guys for everything, for coming out and whatnot. And yeah.
I see a lot of people here today, but I rode here with one person today. I rode here with Kevin. And I know all of you guys have your own Kevins. And the reason we're here is to remember those that aren't. I had a little speech, and on the way up here, I kept rehearsing it, going over in my head. But get up here, you're just speechless. So this day is kind of like a mullet. Get the business done. Now we'll let the hair down and have the fun part. So, got one last thing. Reverend Don will come up and speak a little bit, and then we'll get Corey up here, embarrass him in public, put him on his bike, and have Tyler say a few words. So with that, I'd like to introduce Reverend.
I'm going to go ahead and read the list of names real quick beforehand. Kevin Ross, Ken Burzell, Robert Fredette, William Kramer, Corporal Chance Halsinger, Rick Deeds, Specialist Andy Rawls, Staff Sergeant Paul Spaulding, Captain Millard Wood, PFC Sean Langley, and Christopher Zook.
It's always interesting when I stand up and all of a sudden, even on today, I hear him read the names of those we've lost to suicide. I also hear the point where we talk so often, and if you go on the news, you listen to the media, everything you hear. That veteran had PTSD. That veteran had depression. There's something wrong with the veteran. There's something wrong with this person or that person because they had a mental illness. Before we go up too far, I want to talk to the warriors. And the thing is I hope when I finish that each and every one of you are going to have a stronger realization of what a warrior is. What is a warrior? A warrior is a way of life. It's a way of thinking. Carlos Castaneda says, we choose only once to be warriors or be ordinary. We choose only once because choosing to be a warrior alters our fundamental way of thinking. When we choose to be a warrior, we will see things not as the world sees it, often as a blessing or as a curse, but a warrior will see things as a challenge, and they will face that challenge because they are warriors. Warriors desire to overcome challenges. A warrior will never lose hope, and a warrior will never lose faith. Hope is absolutely powerless. Hope is something that stills and walks away and takes your time. We need to realize that what the universe gives, we can lose in the grounds and grip of hope. But we do need to move forward. We need to know that a warrior is someone who believes. A warrior is someone who has faith. Even there, Paulo Coelho says, because he believes in miracles, miracles will happen. Because he is sure that his thoughts can change his life will begin to change. Because he is certain that he will find love, love appears. A warrior is highly tuned to sense danger, but he does not fear. He does not fear because pain is temporary, death is an illusion. What is eternal cannot die, and what a warrior knows that in another time he or she will laugh, and he or she will fight, even in eternity. In the world today or the world to come, a warrior knows that they will fight. But now, what is a true warrior? A true warrior is not someone that's been programmed to be a killing machine. Although they have the skills and they have the ability and they have the training to call on those skills and that ability if it's needed, that is not what a warrior is. A warrior is a person of peace, a person of benevolence. The great chief Sitting Bull once stated that warriors are not what you think a warrior is. The warrior is not someone who fights. He goes to explain himself saying, the warrior for us is one who sacrifices himself for the good of others. His task is to take care of the elderly, the defenseless, those who cannot provide for themselves, and above all things, the children, our future. I work in a psychiatric hospital. I meet veterans, but I also meet people with multiple mental illnesses. And I see the aching and the hunger in their hearts and the desires to change, the desires to overcome their illness. And another thing, what I really admired today, what did we just hear? But we heard the names of people that were lost. We heard the names of mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters. We heard the names of someone that was loved. Just recently, I read a mail from the Veterans Administration. The VA, July 17, 2016, has a great, fantastic new statistic. Suicide is beyond the number of a statistic. Suicide is an individual. Post-traumatic stress disorder is not a statistic. It's something that is in the lives and the mental health of an individual. We must move beyond that concept of statistics to be warriors, because a warrior knows the importance of doing that. A warrior knows what it's like. When we stood here just a moment ago on the introduction, did you see or experience something? I did. I saw in the heart of an individual the pain, the anguish, and what he experienced in the loss of a loved one. A warrior has to make a choice. A warrior is an individual who makes an open and willing choice to begin to say to their brothers and to their sisters, I have horrendous pain in my heart because I am fearful that you are going to take your life. In these statistics that I read about, it's phenomenal. 38% of the veterans that they said committed suicide, only 16% of those veterans sought help. Only 16%. So the way to rely on and improve those statistics, it wasn't to step out and hear the warrior. It wasn't to step out and reach the veteran. They're going to add more than 6,000 call helplines for those who are already not calling in for help. We are not statistics. We are not statistics. Individually, in this group, in this crowd, I'm looking here, there's mothers, there's fathers, there's children. I do believe that there are individuals that are here today that never served in the military, but they know the pain of the stress of a life. Maybe they know the pain of laying in their bedroom, hearing arguments through the wall, hearing screaming, hearing cussing, hearing fighting, hearing the threats of violence, and in their hearts and in their minds, they don't know what is going to walk through the door. Post-traumatic stress disorder, we do not own. We do not own post-traumatic stress disorder. We do not own depression. This is a way and a fact of life. And it comes through the doors, it comes through the living rooms, it comes into the bedrooms, it comes into the school classrooms, it comes into the churches. Post-traumatic stress disorder is not owned by the veteran. We need warriors that have a willingness to step out. We need warriors who understand even more what a warrior is. I'm going to read it's a poem, I guess you'd say. I want you to listen to this as close as you can. I want the veterans to listen to it. I want family members to listen to it. I want individuals. Because each of you, I hope, will be ready to identify someone in this poem. It's called 1,000 Miles Away. I am thousands of miles away. What can I do? I can't sleep. I can hardly eat. I feel like a zombie, if I knew what a zombie felt like. All I know is that I'm moving with one foot in front of the other. When someone looks at me, I wonder if they can see that every emotion I have is drained from my body. Do I appear to be pale as though I have no blood? Are my eyes empty of hope, red from stains, tear stains? Do they see the quiver in my lips as I try to speak and act as though nothing is wrong? Can they tell from my voice that inside I am screaming and crying uncontrollably and doing everything possible to not just fall down and curl into a ball? I am thousands of miles away. What can I do? What can I do to touch your heart? What can I do to let you know how important you are to me? What can I do to let you know I care? When the darkness comes over you and I am pushed 1,000 miles away, how do I explain how much love I have for you and when in a glance into your eyes I see a smile, or to feel your hand holding mine? I believe you love me. You do love me, don't you? You wouldn't hurt yourself, would you? If I could travel the thousands of miles to be with you and tell you I love you, I would. If I could walk with you and hold your hand so that you know you are not alone, I would. You have taught me well to understand that in this world life isn't fair and that we will all face pain, sorrow, joy, and happiness. You have also taught me that you have a warrior's heart and that you will always fight to protect me because you love me. You do love me, don't you? You're 1,000 miles away. My heart is crushing, and I am afraid. You would never hurt me or leave me. You said you loved me. You taught me so much, but you did not teach me how to understand why you took your life. I guess I didn't explain to you how it would feel when you came home and was still thousands miles away. In my position, I don't get happy phone calls. In my position, I don't sit down very often. I sit down more with individuals and couples and people in crisis than those that come and say, hey, Rev or Chap, I'd love to get married. Would you talk to me about that? No, I sit down with those who come in and their blood has drained from their body, their lips are quivering, their hearts are breaking, and they're falling to pieces. But the truth and the reality is I must be a warrior. And to be a warrior, I must be willing to reach out and hold their hand, be willing to touch them, and be willing to be honest. I thought about the 1,000 miles away, and I'll share a life experience. The whole thing is oftentimes I thought, how will I stand up here? Because I see so many young people, some not so young, and some that think they're young, but apparently they don't look young. But reflecting and understanding the life of a warrior, I remember the shoes that I walked in one day. I remember the horror that my family had, and I remember the day that I yelled at my heart's content and in rage and frustration, and then all of a sudden I heard the voice of a warrior, Daddy, you're crushing my heart, as my 3-year-old son looked up at me. Daddy, you're crushing my heart. I asked the guys, we know from Vietnam, we know from life, what is friendly fire? You don't have to always die from friendly fire, but can we teach those who are looking at thinking of the thought of death, those who are thinking of taking their lives, those who are suffering from PTSD and depression, can we look at them and tell them, I love you. If you do this, you are crushing my heart. A warrior needs purpose. And do you have purpose? Do you have enough individual, honest, integrity type purpose that each and every one of us can be a warrior? We can tell those that we love, don't do it. You will crush my heart. Please, I don't want to be wounded by friendly fire. Let me walk through this with you. Don't leave me alone. That's the beginning of what a warrior is. The warrior fights for one reason alone: love. Love of life, love of what is good, love of family, love of tribe, and love of our infinite soul on the quest for purity. The warrior lets love swell up in their heart, flushing through every cell and in every being, and they cannot but help proclaim, like Crayola de Bergerac, I am going to be a storm. I am going to be a flame. I need to fight whole armies alone. I have 10 hearts. I have 100 arms. Bring on the giants. Do you want to face this PTSD with us? Do you want to face depression? Do you want to grab hold of your child that maybe is struggling through alcohol or substance abuse? Maybe they're dealing with being bullied on the internet. Maybe they're dealing with their life identity, and all they want is someone that's not going to reject them, but instead somebody that says, I love you, and to lose you will crush my heart. Are you willing to be that warrior, to open your heart to those that you love completely and let them know how important they are? And you may have to do that because in this world and in the life and the things that we face, there is tremendous trauma, tremendous horror, and life is not fair. Combat is a short time. Life will be every day. My call for us from now is let's forget about, or let's set aside the statistics. And another, I'm getting so tired. I understand the 22 numbers. And the thing is I don't want to hear them say, well, there's a lot more than 22 because 22 is only reported by this many states. That's statistics. That's numbers. How about being able to say, out of the 22 that did take their life today, 3,000 were wounded. 3,000 were injured by friendly fire because they did not hold tight enough to let that individual know how their heart would break. Depression, PTSD, our brain illnesses, substance abuse, we will face that. This is going to be hard because I know I have a large crowd. And maybe not everybody can do it or want to do it. But if you're even willing, I'm going to ask a strange thing. You're not going to know anybody, but just reach out across and hold one another's hands. Try to create a tight, full circle. And as soon as I can look out and I get the idea that everybody holds their hand, I'm going to say one last thing, and then we'll be done.
Oh man, Eddie. All right.
Yeah. No, it's prison too. Video.
You know what this is called? This is called connection. In an age where we have our cell phones, we have every means of making contact, but the human connection is becoming more and more absent in every day of life. My question is, are you ready to open your hearts? Are you ready to be a warrior who fights for one another, a warrior who, in all of the suffering and the deepest of despair, the warriors who are here today with PTSD, the warriors who are here today with depression, are you willing to say, I am not going to allow the PTSD to control me, or I'm not going to fall to my depression because I am not going to wound those whom I love? And now if we can even begin to believe this one part, I'd love for you loudly, as loud as possible, to just follow me these words. I am going to be a storm.
I'm going to be a storm.
A flame.
A flame.
I need to fight whole armies alone.
I need to fight whole armies alone.
I have 10 hearts.
I have 10 hearts.
I have 100 arms.
I have 100 arms.
I feel too strong to war with mortals.
Feel too strong to war with mortals.
Bring on the giants.
Bring on the giants.
Amen.
Amen.
I don't know how you want me to do it. I'm sitting here thinking, but it ain't working.
Okay, we're gonna try to make this as easy as possible. We know everybody wants to get back on their motorcycles, and we know Corey wants to get on his for sure. So Tyler, why don't you come up here and do my job? Aaron, you come up here and do the other thing that I usually do. And I got the title. Working on it. Shut up.
Oh look, a pin.
Hey, Corey, you want to stand up over here, man? We're gonna sign this, and I'm gonna do this,
Yeah, it's got, you know, the Cena Bluetooth deals? It has a bracket. This has the same kind of bracket. They're only like 119 bucks. All there is on, off. They record you pretty good. That's what it says. get the orientation correct on the mount because there was no way of really pointing it. So I put my laser on top of it and then put it on my head and set my head where I normally position it and then just point it to where it's sitting out in front of me.
Bullshit yourself in.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I'll try to keep it pretty quick. Like everybody knows, we want to get back on the bikes, and like you said, we want to get Corey on his. So
I'm good being
I was
offline.
actually the first recipient of a V-Twin Project motorcycle, and it was a vital part as well as another organization in saving my life after I got out of the Marine Corps. And I know these guys want to make a difference. I don't think they realize how much of a difference they are making. And proof of that, Corey. He's done a lot of service in the military and outside of the military. And as much as your service in the military, even more so what you're doing now, helping veterans every day, I think this bike is just another tool for you to reach out and find other veterans to help, and I know you will. It's an amazing guy right here, and that's why we're recognizing him today. I have a little gift for you, and it's going to be a responsibility of yours to present them to the next recipient. Guardian bells, if you don't know, legend has it, evil real spirits attach themselves to your bike. You attach a guardian bell low, close to the ground, they'll get trapped inside the bell and the ringing will drive them crazy until they fall off. Kind of where bottles come from. That's what we think. And the legend has it, if it's given by a friend, powers are even stronger. So, congratulations, brother.
Yep.
So, this morning I was quite nervous because I'm not a huge public speaker guy. I'm pretty quiet for the most part, but I feel pretty comfortable because I got about 200-300 new friends here. So, it's an awesome feeling. It's a great day, and I just like to. I'll keep it short. How's that? Anyways, like I was saying, I was pretty nervous when I first woke up this morning, and well, for the last week or so. But like I said, it's pretty good because I got a couple hundred new friends here, so it's not that bad. Real quick, I'd like to thank my wife for all that she puts up with me. So all the little projects I get into. She's my rock. So I'd like to thank her. Thank you, Stacy. So they also said I could say as little as I wanted when I got here, so I'll just leave it with thank you.
Let's talk about getting out of here real quick. I'm going to introduce Hal, the Oregon State rep for CVMA, and he's going to talk a little bit about how we're going to ride home and go from there.
Okay, so everybody's pretty much on their own. CVMA, let's cross the bridge, and we'll stage up at the Shell station where we just came from. The people heading east will go east, and the people heading west will go west. We get the honor of escorting you to Pendleton. Get a nice bubble around you so nothing happens to that motorcycle or you. And I just want to reiterate that it's already been said, all these people who came out today, you didn't have to be here. It means a lot that you didn't be here. I want to thank my friend Don. That was an amazing thing he shared with us today. So everybody, please be safe going home. CVMA people, make sure that I get your name to get you on the sanctioned ride list. So, and we will see everybody next year. I see you, Gordy. I got you, buddy. Got your back. I want to see the bike. The bike, yes, the bike. I covered the bike.
Woo!
Burn out.
Turn on the fuel.